Greetings and salutations.
Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is the After the Bars podcast. I am your gracious host. Thank you so much for being here today. Oh, brother, man. Well, the fallout from the Karen Reed trial continues. There's also another story that's on the horizon that I just don't quite know enough about yet. So I'm going to keep that as a surprise. So we'll just hold off on announcing that, but Yuri Bukhenik has been demoted or reassigned, or they're saying he wasn't really demoted because he's still getting the same pay grade, but he's got less responsibility. And as he should, because, you know, he was Proctor's supervisor and he was held accountable a little bit. He was reprimanded or something when Proctor got busted or fired or let go or whatever it was, laid off permanently. So I don't know. He's definitely has less responsibility, but getting the same pay grade. Some were saying that he did get fired, but they didn't want to say it, or that he resigned. But no, he's still in the same barracks, which is what they call the police stations in Massachusetts. He's still in the same trooper barracks, but just with less duty, doing, I think, like administrative like things like filing paperwork. And it's a job nobody wants. Absolutely. It's a job absolutely nobody wants. And good for him. He's earned that. He's earned the disrespect from his peers that now he has to do less duties. But anyways, we're going to cover that story. And also a pediatrician, believe it or not, a left-wing pediatrician. I'm just throwing that out there because she brings up MAGA and things like that. Had a lot of nasty things to say about those poor children who were sadly, tragically unalived by weather. And she had some nasty things to say about that. Did she or didn't she lose her job? We're going to find out. This is the second person that I've heard that has made nasty comments about this situation. Who does that? Who does that exactly? I think people who want attention do that. People who think that it's going to bring attention to their cause online or their clicks and views. I'm good on that. I think I'm going to avoid that kind of attention. This is Sam, and this is After the Bars. I'll start to respond.
Good morning to the chaos we ride.
So when I get texts, my own ideas, so I just want to find out how you guys are doing today. Maybe you guys got something going on you want to talk about. I just feel like I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the chat lately. I do my best, to do the stories and then to also, respond to the chat, to be a part of our community here. I really do. I do my best. I don't avoid people or comments or situations. But I think what I'm going to do is just ask that when we get to the end of the story and I say, hey, let's go to the chat, maybe then do your comments and questions. Then I'll see them in real time, hit my screen. So let's just see who's all in the house today. Jackie Azure, man, it's been a while. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Shell Dubs in the house. John Lazan in the house. Jen Marie's in the house. Hey, Jen. Hopefully we can talk later. Yes, I will give you a shout later. Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. John Lazan, Jen Marie, Darcy's. Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here. Who else is here? Let's just go Shell Dub again. What's up, Shell Dub? That's my W gang sign for Shell Dub. It's between me and her. Rosanna Dana. It's always good to see Rosanna Dana. I always want to show your picture when I see that you're here. And Max, Surviving Together's here. It's so good to see you. And Sherry LeBrun. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for being moderators. Those of you who are moderators, I do want to assign like 3 more moderators as soon as possible. It would have to be just someone that's been here a while, that knows the history, that knows when the trolls come into the chat, knows the situation, like the Linda situation when she comes into the chat. Pretending to be her daughter. It's just absolutely beyond me, the whole situation. So it would have to be that. If anyone's interested, just give a shout out either in the chat or an email. And I would love to have you as a moderator. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to hook the moderators up for all their hard work. I am in a growth spurt right now, over 1,000 new subscribers in a week, or close to 1,000 new subscribers in a week. I think that's amazing. I flipped the script a little bit, made a couple little tweaks, but nothing that I thought would be this good. But having said that, YouTube has implemented a new feature in their studio, and I have been utilizing that. So that has brought a lot of the new subscribers with those clips, but a couple of my live streams have also, and the clips that I have clipped and put up have been of live streams, because that's really all I do. And those have brought, but they're just not live, right? I'm not going to Sam-splain that shit. But yeah, man, it's so good to be here today. I feel really good. I do. I feel good about everything. Oh yeah, one other thing. I wanted to personally thank everybody that has helped me out while my thumb was healing. I appreciate that so much. We made it through because of that. The show was able to stay on because of that. These lights, and when I say that, I really, really do mean that. Like we have lights because of the support that I got this last month, and with the GoFundMe, and barring that I would ever get hurt and like literally couldn't do the extra work, like my construction job, my tattoo shop, the construction is just helping a friend, so I can go work with him anytime. My tattoo shop, of course, I can tattoo anytime when it's needed. So I'm able to work again, and it was just amazing at the show of support. It met my goal exactly, and it was perfect, and that's all because of you guys. And I just want to sincerely thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So thank you. Let's see if anyone new has arrived before I get into this first topic. I don't see anybody. Jackie Azure, Sheldad, Jen Marie. Nope, nobody's here. That's good. Jackie says, Sam, your content is interesting. You're a real human. It shows emotion that we can relate to. That's why your growth channel, in my opinion. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm grateful for the show and the growth, and for you guys to like, especially the mods, when they say, hey, don't forget to hit that like button. That really helps the algorithm, shoot that. I know people use the word algorithm a lot, but it's really important. So believe me, I have tried to steer away from saying, it really helps the algorithm, but there's no other way to describe how important it is to hit the like button, but that it helps the algorithm with the engagement. I even encourage hit the dislike button if you don't like the video or what I'm saying. I absolutely encourage that. I want that feedback with the like and dislike buttons. It lets me know, not that I would change my ideology or my views, or unless I was given, evidence of something to change that, and of course my views can change on their own as I get older. I mean, I've been around, over 55 years, so I don't know how much more could change, but absolutely, on a topic or on a subject, and if I'm, provided information that maybe I had wrong, or that might, like, hey, I didn't know that about that situation, I get it now. Go Kamala. I'm fucking around. I'm just kidding. Never that. You could never convince me of that. Auntie Monkey Pants, so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Always, never, and forever. And I just said a thank you. I don't know if you were here. Just thanking everyone for their support, and that definitely includes you with your immense support for the show, me and my family. Thank you. So thank you. So anyways, let's get into this. I don't know how much this is too important in the grand scheme of things, but as I said before, Bukhenik was reassigned or let go or whatever. Not let go, but demoted. But I don't think it was too much of a demotion. Let's take a look.
He testified for 3 days during Karen Reed's second murder trial, and now the Massachusetts State Police Sergeant who supervised the Reed investigation has been reassigned.
Yeah, it's a name that you've probably heard about.
I got it, Darcy.
If you follow this case, we're talking about Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, who until just yesterday had been working for the Norfolk County State Police Detective Unit, now under the direction of District Attorney Michael Morrissey. Now, for more on this development, let's turn to NBC Boston's Michael Rosenfeld. He's joining us right now. Michael, do we know yet where the sergeant's been moved to?
Colton, he'll be working right here at State Police Headquarters in Framingham doing administrative duties. It's the latest fallout in the Karen Reed investigation. Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, one of the top investigators in the high-profile Karen Reed case, suddenly reassigned. He's being moved out of his job at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, considered a plum assignment.
It's difficult to get into these units, especially as a supervisor. These are very coveted positions. You can spend the rest of your career there. You develop a certain level of expertise. which also makes you marketable for a second career once you retire.
State police say Bukhenik has now been temporarily reassigned to the Division of Standards and Training at headquarters in Framingham, where he'll perform a...
Hold on. So you guys can't hear that? Why is there an echo now? Oh, that's why. You guys can't hear the video? Okay, if that's way too long, do another one. Just push it one time. We'll just do half of that. Sorry, guys. It's summertime and I have my daughter, and it's unavoidable for her to interrupt the show. And so I just apologize for that. So you could hear the video, can't hear, it's just echoing. Is it echoing?
Variety of administrative functions in support of daily operations.
It is not a demotion because he's allowed to retain his rank. However, the change of assignment is absolutely a disciplinary action on behalf of the department against Sergeant Bukhenik.
The investigation was conducted with honor and integrity.
Bukhenik was the supervisor of Trooper Michael Proctor at the Norfolk DA's office. Proctor was fired after improper text messages he sent about Karen Reed were revealed. Bukhenik
for 3 days during Karen.
Okay, I'm going to start from the beginning because now I don't know what was said to be able to comment. Let me know if this is a lot better.
He testified for 3 days.
But that sucked for me.
During Karen Reed's second murder trial, and now the Massachusetts State Police Sergeant who supervised the Reed investigation has been reassigned.
Yeah, it's a name that you've probably heard about a number of times if you followed this case. We're talking about Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, who until just yesterday had been working for the Norfolk County State Police Detective Unit, now under the direction of District Attorney Michael Morrissey. Now, for more on this development, let's turn to NBC Boston's Michael Rosenfield. He's joining us right now. Michael, do we know yet where the sergeant's been moved to?
Colton, he'll be working right here at State Police Headquarters in Framingham doing administrative duties. It's the latest fallout in the Karen Reed investigation. Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, one of the top investigators in the high-profile Karen Reed case, suddenly reassigned. He's being moved out of his job at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, considered a plum assignment.
It's difficult to get into these units, especially as a supervisor. These are very coveted positions. You can spend the rest of your career there. You develop a certain level of expertise, which also makes you marketable for a second career once you retire.
State police say Bukhenik has now been temporarily reassigned to the Division of Standards and Training at headquarters in Framingham, where he'll perform a variety of administrative functions in support of daily operations.
It is not a demotion because he's allowed to retain his rank. However, the change of assignment is absolutely a disciplinary action on behalf of the department against Sergeant Bukhenik.
The investigation was conducted with honor and integrity.
Bukhenik was the supervisor of Trooper Michael Proctor at the Norfolk DA's office. Proctor was fired after improper text messages he sent about Karen Reed were revealed. Bukhenik, who was initially disciplined with a loss of vacation time, was criticized for not holding Proctor accountable for his behavior. State police have not said why Bukhenik has now been reassigned.
A supervisor is there to maintain order. You nip it in the bud. Enough with the banter, enough with going back and forth. And if warranted, you call that trooper in, you sit him down, and there's a series of disciplinary actions.
So this is a temporary reassignment through October 4th. What his eventual permanent role will be is still unknown. Live in Framingham, Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
I'll tell you exactly what this sounds like, guys. This sounds like Hold on, guys. John Lazan, you just said, Shell, since Sam doesn't read the flipping chat, I text him and emailed him about your wrench. I do read the chat, John. When I'm doing the show, and trust, I would see it. I would see it. I appreciate you emailing me and texting me about it. I would get to it. Just like I said, I would ask for comments and questions. After the thing, that would be a perfect time to say, hey, I would love to be a wrench. And then I will get to it. I don't know if it's because you write in all caps all the time that seems aggressive, but I don't appreciate it. I don't. I will get it. When you say things like flipping, that sounds like the fucking to me, but you don't use the F word. So yeah, I will definitely make her a moderator. Absolutely. And we would get to that. Okay.
Michael, thank you. Joining the conversation now is our commentator, Sue O'Connell, who served as our courtroom insider during the entire Karen Read trial. Thanks for being with us tonight. Sue, you spent 2 months watching the jurors' reactions to witnesses on the stand. I was pretty much asking you.
Oh, so anyways, what I was going to say was that when I lost my train of thought. When someone gets lesser duties, they are usually like under an investigation. So maybe he's being investigated on something on the Karen Read stuff again. Maybe more stuff came out during the trial. I'm guessing he could be under that investigation, and then they give him those duties, and then at the end of that investigation they'll either reinstate him or let him go. I'm assuming he's going to be let go pretty soon. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure. I should time you out, John Lazan. I should time you out. It's just, well, I had just said, that it's hard for me to do the chat, to be interrupted by my daughter's cheesy roll, and to, get to everything. And that maybe at the end, then that's when you guys let me know. I don't know. Anyways, I love you guys no matter what. Even if you told me to F off, I would still love you guys. But now I'm just trying to regroup and figure out where I was going with my assessment on this. But that's basically it. I'm guessing that he's probably going to get let go. So that's my prediction, that he's going to get let go. I wanted to take a look. The same news station did. Well, let's finish this.
Like
one
every
first.
day, how they were reacting.
Pretty much every day you were.
Pretty much every day. How did they react to
Griffin.
Sergeant Bukhenik's testimony during the proceedings?
So, Priscilla, I went back and looked at my posts on X about juror reactions to the Bukhenik in the first trial and in the retrial. And at the very least, many of them seemed skeptical of what he was saying. And at the worst, some showed visible signs of disbelief and shock. Now, look, Bukhenik was much more combative in the retrial. In one case, it took him 12 minutes to answer just simple questions, setting the scene. And he asked for a dictionary to help him define theory. So you can imagine how even the most stoic of jurors appeared to be taken aback by his behavior on the stand.
Did they say anything to you, Sue, about the impression that they got?
Absolutely pathetic. It was disgusting the way he acted on the stand. I don't know how he felt he was doing the right thing by the people, by justice, by truth. I don't think that he even came close to that. I think he's a disgrace to the Massachusetts troopers, state trooper department. It was disgusting. what he did, the way how combative he was. He's there to say the truth, and he absolutely did not say the truth. He told every answer was a half truth or a lie. 1000%.
From him, though, once the trial was over and everything concluded?
Yeah, absolutely. One juror told me that she noticed Bukhenik making fists during cross-examination,
Wow.
and also told me that that giggle outburst that I reported among the three jurors, that was actually about something outlandish that Bukhenik said. So other jurors have said and told reporters that as the face of the investigation, they felt his testimony left them wondering why there were so many holes in it, and if it was bad police work or if it was tampering. And all of that led to not guilty verdicts on those three major charges.
Oh.
All right, really interesting. Sue, thanks so much for joining us here tonight.
You're welcome.
Sorry, guys. Hazley called me out there. I have one more. Let's see what they report on here. I think this one was afterwards.
Days during Karen Reed's second murder trial. And now the Massachusetts State Police Sergeant who supervised the Reed investigation has been reassigned. Our NBC 10's Michael Rosenfield joining us live tonight. Michael, do we know where the sergeant's been moved to?
Priscilla, he'll be working right here at the state police headquarters in Framingham on administrative duties for the time being. It's the latest fallout in the Karen Reed investigation. Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, one of the top investigators in the high-profile Karen Reed case, suddenly reassigned. He's being moved out of his job at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, considered a plum assignment.
It's difficult to get into these units, especially as a supervisor. These are very coveted positions. You can spend the rest of your career there. You develop a certain level of expertise, which also makes you marketable for a second career once you retire.
State police say Bukhenik has now been temporarily reassigned to the Division of Standards and Training at headquarters in Framingham, where he'll perform a variety of administrative functions in support of daily operations.
It is not a demotion because he's allowed to retain his rank.
And because he's allowed to retain his rank, that just shows that he's under some new investigation. They've reopened up the investigation. Absolutely. Hey, Heather Griffin, it's good to have you here from Cootie or Cootie. It's probably Cootie, I'm guessing. North Ireland or North Island, New Zealand. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Sorry if I butchered your location. I really am. I am super flustered right now. My daughter.
However, the change of assignment is absolutely a disciplinary action on behalf of the department against Sergeant Bukhenik.
The investigation was conducted with honor and integrity.
Bukhenik was the supervisor of Trooper Michael Proctor at the Norfolk DA's office. Proctor was fired after improper text messages he sent about Karen Reed were revealed. Bukhenik, who was initially disciplined with a loss of vacation time, was criticized for not holding Proctor accountable for his behavior. State police have not said why Bukhenik has now been reassigned.
A supervisor is there to maintain order. You nip it in the bud. Enough with this banter, enough with going back and forth. And if warranted, you call that trooper in, you sit him down, and there's a series of disciplinary actions.
Law enforcement expert
That's just the culture, though. So like I never was bothered too much by the text messages, except for calling Karen Reed names. I was bothered by that. But the nature of just saying, oh man, I got this case, it's crazy, wait till you hear about it, that, and maybe even being a little more locker room than that is I feel like it's okay. It's probably maybe a little bit of stress relief. I don't know. I've been in situations like that where, you've had conversations that are a little bit inappropriate, but not, I don't know. Nothing like, rapey or not things like that, but just, I don't know, just, banter, guy room banter. I shouldn't have said locker room banter because, stupid Trump used that as his excuse for saying the most vile thing that I thought anyone could say about somebody. But anyways, I don't want to get into that because I support him, but I support him because of his, his policies and,
McGee says Bukhenek's testimony during the second Reed trial may also have been a factor in his transfer.
Absolutely.
I thought it could have been more forthwith. There was some jousting that didn't come across professional. I thought he could have been more direct with his answers.
Yeah, he made
so again, this is
he made the state troopers look like a bunch of idiots. Especially, you should be doing the exact opposite. You should be going above and beyond, showing the intelligence and the candor, the greatness of your department, of how awesome it is to be a state trooper, how he said no, the investigation was done with honesty and honor or integrity or whatever he said, when it's right in front of him that it wasn't, and he knew he would be called on it. No. You try to be absolved and atone for your comrade, right? I mean, I don't know. It's he did exactly what not to do, right? We all saw it. We all watched it. And so did his supervisors, and then so did their supervisors. And then I'm guessing that's what happened. I'm guessing the governor probably called somebody. I don't know who the governor is, but the governor was probably like, you guys are making, we already have getting enough shit about this Canton Police Department. Now you guys want to act like assholes on the stand and make this this, I keep on saying department, but it's, they're not a police department, but the trooper, organizations, whatever it is, he really make them look bad. And I'm not one to reach for the negative of something. So I'm giving them a lot of credit by just saying he really made them look bad.
Temporary reassignment. It goes until October 4th. What his permanent position will be eventually, we don't know yet. Live in Framingham tonight, Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
Michael, thank you. Earlier tonight, we spoke with Sue O'Connell, who served as our courtroom insider during the trial, both trials. She talked about how jurors in the retrial viewed Sergeant Bukhenik during his testimony.
One juror told me that she noticed Bukhenik making fists during cross-examination, and also told me that giggle outburst that I reported among the three jurors, that was actually about something outlandish that Bukhenik said. So other jurors have said and told reporters that as the face of the investigation, they felt his testimony left them wondering why there were so many holes in it, and if it was bad police work or if it was tampering. And all of that led to not guilty verdicts on those three major charges.
It sure did. As she was just saying what the jurors have said and how they reacted, he could be responsible for that. Not that, I mean, or he definitely added to that, which I'm glad Karen Reed broke free. I'm working on a story right now of all the pro Karen Reed people profiles that are on a few different platforms. You guys are going to lose your shit on how many pro Karen Reed I guess profiles, social media profiles on that are out there that show the same evidence that Brennan showed, and are saying like, how do you not see this? Well, I would say back to you, how do you not see this? But yeah, I cannot wait to do that story. I don't think it'll be ready by tomorrow. But man, it is crazy. And one of the pro Karen Reed people I've been associated with before, and it blows me away because I thought her and Karen were friends. Like, I thought Karen Reed had gone to her house when all this really first went down, and her and Karen used to hang out when Karen would cry over a glass of wine. So I don't know what changed. I haven't talked to her in a very long time, so I just don't know what has changed. But I'm definitely I want to ask her. I want to ask her, but I'm afraid that we'll get into a heated argument, and I value my friendship with her more than, wanting to argue with her about Karen Reed, because it has nothing to do with our friendship, right? Do you know what I mean? So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about all this? If you've already made a comment, I'm sorry, I can't go backwards to take a look. If you have any comments or questions about this, or if you disagree with me about how I feel like they've reopened up the investigation, or they're looking at the old investigation again and deciding what they're going to do with Bukhenik, Trooper Bukhenik. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put a 2 in the chat if you think I'm right. Put a 1 in the chat if you think I'm wrong. We will always use the 1s in our community for the negative answer of anything that I ask, and then the 2 will be the positive answer, and then of course we use 3 for support and prayers for people in our community and abroad. So John agrees. That's good. You're welcome, Shell. Thank you for being here and offering to be a moderator. I am super grateful that you would be willing to do that. So thank you so much. Yeah, go easy on John. and I think, John, the reason why your all cap statement, like I know you and I are always good. Like we're always going to be bros, and we text and talk. But to like new subscribers, they might see that and be like, oh, this dude's an idiot. He doesn't even talk to his chat or look at his messages. So, and because it was all in caps, they might like, oh, well, this guy, he's got a wrench and he's saying this, so this guy must be really bad. I guess that's all that I'm saying. Grateful. Hey, Grateful, it's good to see you. I'm so glad you are here today on this beautiful Tuesday. I had to go look and see what day it was. I have a clock underneath one of my screens in a calendar. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably what's going on. Hey, Laura May. Laura May, I think my wife emailed you, or she was going to email you. I will ask her today if she emailed you yet. We talked about it on Sunday, so she might not have gotten to it yet. Hey, Mark Jones, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, and participating in the chat. Yeah, I mean, what else could it be? I pray that that he gets let go. I know he's probably got a family to support, and hopefully he'll be okay, but he just was wrong for all the reasons I just stated. He's just wrong. Yeah, I know what you mean, Laura. It says, yeah, I keep saying I will too. I'm in a time warp. Yeah, the past 2 weeks were pretty hectic with the Diddy stuff and the Karen Reed stuff, like all coming around to conclude all at the same time. It was crazy. It was crazy. I have so many different thumbnails that I've made for both situations, and then my other channel. It's been nuts. It's been nuts around here, and I feel like I lost some time. I really do. I really feel like I lost some time. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. And then after this story, we're going to talk about a Boston police officer that was, I scratch that. I'm going to do a pre-recorded video about that because I need to edit out some things from his court hearing when they talk about what he did. A Boston police officer was just brought up on charges and fired for SA against a child. And of course, I'll have to do trigger warnings and stuff. So I'm not going to talk about that today. But what we will talk about is this POS pediatrician. She was a pediatrician, and look at the things that she had to say. Look at the things that she had to say. I'm just gonna go ahead and read the story. Let me just get into it a little more so you guys can see it a little better. A pediatrician has been fired over a viral post suggesting that more than 80 killed in the horrific Texas floods, including dozens of kids, were President Trump supporters who got what they voted for. Dr. Christina B. Probst drew widespread scorn following the disparaging since deleted post under her old Facebook username, Christina, according to Mediate. May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry, Probst wrote in a now viral post. Yeah, that's the dumb bee right there. That was the destruction, the mass destruction that happened in Texas this last week. This is the camp where these beautiful children were camping, and the water flooded. That was at Camp Mystic after the destructive flooding ravaged the area. Kirk County MAGA voted to get FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. The Facebook post quickly went viral after a screenshot was shared by libs of TikTok. Probst's employer, Bluefish Pediatrics, initially said the employee had been suspended before announcing that the individual is no longer employed there. Bravo. Bravo. And you know what? And I bet you they weren't a right-wing Trump supporter. She probably wouldn't work for someone who was like that. But that person who decided to let them go knew what she said was awful. Disparaging is an understatement. And there's her post. I will put her name. No, never mind. I don't want to raise an angry mob and raid her social media. Just let them all deal with that. We don't need to get involved in that. Well, I'm just here to report what's going on. We do not support or condone any statement that politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or fails to clearly uphold compassion for every child and family, regardless of background or beliefs, the doctor's office said. Right. She's a pediatrician. She works for a pediatrics hospital. What the F was she thinking, dude? A previous initial statement saying that she had been placed on leave was shared by the head of the Texas Medical Board, Dr. Sheriff Zafran. There is no place for politicization. The entire focus needs to be on looking for survivors. Any complaints we may receive will be thoroughly investigated, he posted on X. To our patients and community, yeah, they had to come out with this statement. To our patients and community, this past weekend, we were made aware of a social media comment from one of our physicians. The individual is no longer employed by Bluefish Pediatrics. As we previously mentioned in our original statement, We strongly condemn the comments that were made, in fact, in that post. That post does not reflect the values, standards, or mission of the Bluefish Pediatrics. We do not support or condone any statement that politicizes sorry, I lost my place. That politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or fails to clearly uphold compassion for every child, family, regardless of background or beliefs. Exactly. Why would anyone say that? And then to make it political, that's derangement syndrome. That's Trump derangement syndrome. Absolutely. It absolutely is. As we previously mentioned in our original statement, we strongly condemn the comments that were made in that post. That post does not reflect the values, standards, or mission of Bluefish Pediatrics. We do not support or condone any statements that politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or fails to clearly uphold compassion for every child or family, regardless of background or beliefs. We continue to extend our full support to the families and the surrounding communities who are grieving, recovering, and searching for hope. Sincerely, Bluefish Pediatrics leadership team. Yeah, that is bizarre. The Texas Medical Board has not announced a formal investigation. The callous post prompted immense backlash online. Please tell us this person is not allowed anywhere near patients in Texas. Our social media user wrote, yeah, she looks like a left-wing Karen, 1,000%. 1,000%. And now, don't get it twisted. There's right-wing Karens too. I've seen it. I know some. I'm friends with some. Houston pediatrician Dr. Kenisa Probst came under fire now for the now deleted social media posts. We are residents here and find this beyond horrific and also very dangerous. Please help, they added. Dangerous because of the backlash that she could have. She could get hurt. I'm not saying she should get hurt, but she could get hurt by the crazies, right? The crazies on both sides. There is crazies on both sides. And at the very least, she's going to get death threats for sure. But there's crazies on both sides, I assure you. So I don't know. This is the sort of clinician employed at Bluefish Media or Bluefish MD in Houston. The ethics, humanity, and empathy illustrated here is unfathomable. Yeah, they're probably going to get a lot of backlash in their community where they're located. People are definitely going to lead them no matter what they do. Absolutely. I'm just going to read on and do this whole article. Then I have a real jackwagon to show you. The doctor appeared to have changed her username and profile image on Facebook since the post went viral. Several ex-users noted Probst's profile pages were taken down from both the Bluefish Pediatrics site and the website for Memorial Hermann Health System, which is associated with Bluefish Pediatrics. That's just a layout of where the tragedy happened. Unbelievable. And look it's not showing where their beds are. Oh, look, their beds were way up here where that red outline is. And the water came up that high. Gosh. And so fast. It came up so fast. Look at that. It just destroyed it. Can we get threes and prayers for these children? Hey, mahalo to you. Arca's Chicken Gun. Yeah, could we please get prayers for these children? Please. For the children's families, for understanding, because we all know, and you guys definitely know how I feel with 4 daughters. If I just lost one of those daughters to a tragic event like that, which is nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. Unfortunately, I just hope they can understand that God's planning is always perfect, no matter how tragic it seems. I know it sucks, but I would hope, I don't know how much comfort that would give me. And I love God. I know I'd be pissed off for a long time, but I just hope that they're not pissed off like I would be for very long, and they just understand that that they will be with their children again, that they absolutely will. Memorial Herman also acknowledged the controversy in statement. We are aware of statements made by a physician on social media and strongly condemn these statements. This provider is not employed by Memorial Herman. We have zero tolerance for such rhetoric, which does not reflect the mission, vision, or values of our system, the healthcare system said. Yeah. Oh man, I want to watch this story. Maybe we'll come back and watch that together. I haven't seen that yet. But listen to what this jackwagon said. And really what she needs to do, she needs to learn how to talk. Just take a listen.
Y'all scary as fuck, and I don't give a damn. Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a fuck.
Idiot.
Am I sad? No. Nope. Because more YT people will have to DIE.
More YouTube people will have to die. Why does she hate YouTube people? She on her post it says racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. Yep. If she's anyone big on YouTube, or I mean on TikTok or wherever the hell she's lives at, in a swamp somewhere, she has been canceled now. I bet you. But maybe that's what her audience likes to hear. I don't know. But she's doing it for attention, clicks, and attention, because she knows that this kind of attention will get her those clicks. Look, this isn't from hers. This is from someone who reported on this, who's a friend on X. So I'm giving him the click. But
in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the fuck I said. I don't give a fuck, and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the fuck you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay with that. Be okay with not finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again. Keep that same energy, because I'm here for it. I am so here for it. Because I've been reading the comments and the shit y'all be saying. Y'all didn't give a fuck when it was brown people. We sorry that it's white people now, but
racist, man. Racism.
That's going to happen. This is going to be a repetitive cycle going to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until y'all get tired. Racism cost y'all more than y'all thought. Racism wrote that line? Racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. Yeah, racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. And guess who's paying for it? Okay.
She doesn't even know how to talk. She said, "You reap what you sow." It's reap what you sow, not reek what you sow. That's first. Secondly, I show you guys that to show you what the opposition is like out there. They're that nuts to say. First, they say they don't believe in God, but this is God punishing us for being racist. I thought there was no God, or so this is karma. But you're using biblical statements like reap what you sow. So I don't know, but it's ugly. She's ugly. Those statements are ugly, and I don't mean physically. I'm just saying her whole outlook and belief on that tragic situation. Who would say that? Well, I guess she would. I wasn't planning on playing this, but let's take a look at this real quick. I I haven't had a chance to see too much just because I
Looking
have
for
my family and
Looking for answers in Texas. How did over 100 people end up dead from catastrophic flooding? Were emergency alerts enough? Plus, dinner date, what President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discussed in a White House dining room Monday evening. And billionaire bash, Bezos, Zuckerberg, Cook, Gates, and more gather for the annual Sun Valley Conference in Idaho, and AI tops the list for discussion. Those stories and more today, Tuesday, July 8th. I'm Caitlin Becker, and this is the New York Postcast. Guess who's coming to dinner? Benjamin Netanyahu, and he brought quite the hostess gift. Bibi and President Trump dined together at the White House Monday night, and the Israeli Prime Minister
would be placed close together so that they could not only predict a wall of water coming and predict it earlier than what the
However, there are still serious questions about operations in places like Kerr County, where 27 campers and counselors at a Christian summer camp all perished. The camp was positioned in what locals call Flash Flood Alley, and officials there had discussed installing a flood warning system along the Guadalupe River as far back as 2017, but they decided that it simply would just be too expensive. The price tag on a similar system in a nearby county was $2 million. A former Kerr County commissioner who spoke to the Post admitted that such a system, quote, could have helped a lot of people. For more on all this, we're joined now by Post Texas reporter Jenny Terr. So, Jenny, how do these riverside warning systems work, and how might they have changed what happened?
Right. So there are these pieces of technology called gauges that would be in the water in the Guadalupe River, and they would be placed close together so that they could not only predict a wall of water coming and predict it earlier than what these residents, what these tourists, what these people who were affected by this flood had. So it would also tell us, how fast this wall of water was moving, how quickly people needed to prepare, and so on. But we know that county officials are saying that they didn't have these mechanisms in place because of funding issues, that taxpayers didn't want to foot the bill for this. So this is becoming a big blame game now about what could have been in place and why it wasn't in place.
See, I just don't agree with the blame game at all. What's done is done. Now, let's just make sure it doesn't happen again in the future. Playing the blame game achieves nothing. These guys going back and forth. Oh, if you would have done this, this wouldn't have happened. Like, look, the tragedy happened. Let's focus all of our energy on making sure things like this don't happen again, especially in a place called Flash Flood Alley.
And, there's big questions about that.
Big questions, and of course, hindsight always 2020. I want to talk about the search and rescue efforts. They're ongoing here, but in addition to that, the investigation phase has begun. So what are the kinds of questions that investigators are trying to get answers to now?
Right, so they're looking into what the warnings were that happened in the day before this occurred, and then the day in the morning that it happened, the early morning hours, because there were meetings with officials in weather departments that were discussing these flash floods that they saw coming, but they didn't see necessarily the concentration that ended up happening, that the storm really hovered over Kerr County and really inundated that area with water, which then we know caused death and destruction. So they're looking into those those alert systems that went into place following those meetings in the hours in the late night of July 3rd into the early morning of July 4th, which we know is when the flood took place in those early morning hours. And so had there been more warning systems in place, that's one of the questions. Not only were there the correct warnings at the time, but was there a need for more? This is an area with limited cell service. This is an area with limited internet service. Some people turn off the notifications on their phones for such alerts. Could they have had other forms of technology that would have alerted them to this? This is something that's being discussed, the NOAA radios that would have given a sound when something was happening, when they would have had a flash flood emergency warning, and that would have overridden, any kind of cell service issue or anything like that. And it also would have helped in the case of being indoors sleeping, because it sends a pretty loud signal. Even alarms that I've heard about that could have been installed outdoors, outside of cabins or outside of these RV parks, some people may have slept through them. So this is what experts are telling me just about what could have been in place, what was in place, and where they're looking to kind of make changes.
Now, you mentioned that the blame game has really started already. And you also mentioned, of course, that some of these mechanisms, these safety mechanisms, are taxpayer funded. So, of course, there is a political conversation to have here. Democrats like Julian Castro and Chuck Schumer are asking for an inquiry into DOJ cuts and whether or not they impacted this tragedy. So what can you tell?
Well, there you go. They're looking to blame it on the DOJ cuts, which possibly, right? I guess. Grateful 1111. It's good to see you, Grateful. Glad you're here this afternoon. I am pretty sure the parents want some answers, though. Sadly, we live in an era where the best made-up lie explains something is what we hear. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. And we're probably gonna hear, and I agree. To get to the parents wanting answers, I agree. I would want answers. And I guess I would be blaming a ton of people. I don't, of course, that's not going to make anyone feel better. But I would probably be doing the same thing. And it's easy for me to say on the outside, looking in to say, oh, playing the blame game, it doesn't, is it going to fix things for the next time? And it doesn't. But I think some people deserve answers and deserve to be blaming people. But I think commentators and politicians who get involved in the blame game are definitely doing it for whatever clout, with their political party, and it's ugly and it's disgusting. Even when the side I support does it, it's ugly and disgusting. I just don't say it's only the left that does it, for sure not. Let's finish this story.
Tell us about that. Is this just politics being politics, or is there something to this?
Yeah, well, I've spoken with some experts in meteorology, in emergency management and preparedness, and they all say that this really is not about the National Weather Service and their response to this, which is what these DOJ cuts were. This is more about the local infrastructure that we're looking at now, and possibly just the fact that there are a lot of compounding elements here that made it really difficult to alert people. It was the fact that this was in the middle of the night when people were asleep in a rural area. This is an area in Texas that is very tourist heavy. People are coming in for the July 4th weekend. They're coming to use the river and have, adventurous outdoor activities going on. And so this is just something that you have all these compounding elements that made it the perfect storm, not only for this to come in, but also for people to not really know what to do, or maybe, not to receive these warnings. And so that really created the biggest problems here, according to the experts I've spoken to.
Now it just becomes a point of recovery moving forward and waiting to get answers to some of these questions for prevention looking ahead. Jenny Terra, thank you so much.
Yep, that's right. We just need to prevent it from happening again. And hopefully they can get to that and figure that out sometime. Let's go to the chat, see what you guys have to say about all of this drama. First, let me share a beautiful, what are they again? These are some pies that, look at those delicious looking pies. Wow. Those are from James Collins. James Collins Cares whipped up those. Oh my God, those look so good. Those look so good. I can't remember when the last time I had a delicious homemade pie like that. I really can't. Jen Marie says there's nothing wrong with the investigation to see if cuts played a part. No, absolutely not. That being said, all of the political BS should be left out of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 1000%. Yeah, don't those pies look so good? I think John Lazan sent me some pictures to share too. I'm not sure. Let me see. Sorry, do you know me? You know. Oh, I know that. I love you, brother. God bless you too, John Lazan. I texted a customer yesterday. Oh, there they are. Okay, good. Good. I have a tattoo tomorrow. Yay! Now that I can stretch the skin with my terrible thumb. Jim Marie says, fact, New Orleans still isn't the same 20 years after Katrina. North Carolina is still a disaster after the hurricanes last year. They need to stop politicizing and take care of the people. That's right. Yeah, I still don't know exactly what went wrong at Katrina in New Orleans. I know it was an engineering issue. And, you know, with the right storm, I'm sure that it could happen again. It's that we think we can control the power of the weather is crazy. But we can definitely try to prevent as good as we can, right? With our technology. I mean, we're worried about how to stream faster or how to make better, faster phones that can do more and more and more, but we can't design, you know, an alert system to alert sleeping children at a camp, or a way to redirect water so it doesn't go up higher, that it changes direction. I don't know what the answers are to a lot of these questions. But there's smarter people out there than me that do, and they can fix it instead of trying to figure out a better phone. That this phone already does what 400 times of what the space shuttle did in its very first flight, or its last flight. Just in my phone can do that times what, 300 or 400. I can't remember what it was. That's crazy. It's crazy. And then, you know, I watched this, you know, these pyramid stories about, you know, all these pyramids that are found all over the world, where the rock, you know, because now we're talking about building and engineering safeguards from people to get flooded. But, you know, the Aztecs and the ancient Egyptians and the Anunnaki or whoever built these pyramids where the rocks are all exactly paper thin apart, where air can get through, and you know what I mean, and everything's parallel perfectly. They could do that, but we can't build a levee that will save a town. I don't know, that just doesn't quite make sense to me. But I do know this: whatever we do build and design to safeguard, it's never 100%. So that means it just can't be that. It has to be warning systems. You know, maybe inside. You know, if there's a campground where kids are sleeping, maybe inside that camp where kids are sleeping, there could be a specific alarm right in that barrack. You know, that would wake the children up. And they know when they get there, if you hear this go off, you know, this is where you will, you know, take off to, you know, to a higher ground, you know, away from the camp. I don't know, but it's a sad story. I wish it didn't happen. As the father of 4 girls, I couldn't imagine even one of those girls being hurt by a flood, much less losing their precious life. That I adore and love and let boss me around and, you know, kick me and hit me. She's nuts. Wait a minute. I changed my mind. She's a terrorist. Get her away. Get her out of here. Not unalive, but take her away. I'm raising a terrorist. I don't know, guys. It's all crazy. Grateful has a question. What do you think about the cloud seeding? Like, do I think it's real, or do I think it can affect things? And maybe cloud seeding is real. Absolutely. Do I think it can change the weather? I just don't know. Right. I know some people do think it can change the weather. But I just don't know. And then let's just say it can change the weather. So that we can use the weather as a weapon, like someone can use that to, take out some campgrounds and I just don't know enough about it. But I do know it's real. I do know it's real. That has been talked about and proven, and maybe even, there might even be the scientists that are out there doing it, and maybe they've made a video. I don't know. But I remember seeing some kind of clip from something. So I don't know. I was coming on the show title, just popped in. I am obviously now off topic. Sorry. You can be off topic. You can talk about any of the titles. And maybe my mods didn't know this, but at the end of the show, we can talk about anything that we've played. So I appreciate you. Any comment or question that you have for the show. Absolutely. Absolutely. And my mods, if they told you different, they just didn't know. And like, I haven't had a meeting with the mods to like go over things, but now that the show is growing exponentially, I will definitely have to do a Zoom call with all the mods, and so we can just talk about how we want the chat to go and run. So no need to be sorry at all. Scott McGinnis, thank you so much for being here. We are a Justice for John 1000%. And I have some more stuff to play this week that is mind-boggling. And I'm doing a show on all the Locke Karen Reed supporters, and kind of just showing their ignorance and stupidity when it comes to this topic. So yeah, please look out for that show. I'd love for you to be a part of the show and to discuss it with me. Any other questions or comments before we go, guys? Thanks everyone. Thank you everyone for coming out today. I loved it, except for the beginning, kind of a rough start. My daughter was having a meltdown over a cheesy roll-up. She burnt the first one, and then the second one was too hot for her to roll. And so she had to stop me to roll it. So, which is okay. She can stop me anytime she wants, but I would rather her not. Because I get my mind is racing 1,000,000 miles per hour always about anything that we're talking about. And when I get paused for a second, I get thrown off so hard that I look bumbling. And I definitely don't want to be a bumbling idiot. I mean, who does, right? Who does? But it's not a good show quality. Hey, Cliff Ann, good to see you. So glad you're here, Cliff Ann. Yeah, me too. Thank you for the comment. I like where the show's going too. We've completely separated ourselves from the drama. It might get mentioned here and there. If it comes, if it relates to one of a story that we're talking about. But I pray that everyone that used to be associated with the show and that's outside of the show, I pray that everyone heals, accepts responsibility, and does good moving forward. And I'm only smiling because I just don't know if that'll ever happen, but I hope it does. I hope it does. Well, guys, let's pray for those families of the children that were lost in the fire, and if even any of the adults, for their families. Let's just pray that they have understanding and they can forgive God and whoever they blame, so they can start to heal. It's all new, and it's not going to be for probably a year or more before they can start to feel peace and happiness again. I don't know. It took me 22 years after losing my wife to a drunk driver. So, but normal people, because I'm not normal, hopefully they can, they never do get over it, but I'm just saying where they can focus on like they're still here and someday that they'll be able to be with their loved ones again. And I don't say that out of just, oh, it's a comforting thing to say or to believe in. It is what's going to happen. Just read Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss if you have a hard time believing that. And then go pick up a Bible. And the one doesn't go with the other. Like Dr. Brian Weiss isn't a Christian or anything, but anyways, yeah, what's normal, right? What's normal? I know. Oh yeah, nothing is normal anymore. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions that are here down at the bottom. So, well, you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. I'm going to try to be back later like I always do. I always want to come back later and do a show in the evening. But it's not a for sure thing. It's that's my desire. It's not a sure thing. I just want to make sure that Scott, I didn't miss Scott's question. I was commenting on the dismantling of the DA Michael Morrissey's state police detective group in Norfolk County. On the dismantling. Oh, are they dismantling it? Or are you just talking about like Bukhenik getting demoted or whatever? He's under investigation again, is what I believe. Group in. No, I don't know about that. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I'm definitely going to go take a look at that like right now. And I'm going to get a hold of a friend of mine that knows about this a lot more than I do. Coming soon, Sam and I are talking about the troubled teen industry. That's right. Man, if we could do that today, that would be amazing, but possibly not. We'll probably have to do it this week, hopefully very soon. That's good. Well, I can't even remember what I titled it. Hold on. Mass State Police Sergeant pulled from duty after explosive Karen retrial. Yeah. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. Please subscribe if you like Karen Reed content. I know there's a million people that do it, but I am obsessed with it. Even still, I thought it was going to be over, but it's not. And now I'm going to focus on all the getting justice for John O'Keefe. I've talked about it before. Like I'm going to be shouting that forever and ever. I've done shows on why I believe the feds are definitely investigating it right now. And that's before I even knew Turtle Boy thought the same thing. I'm an ex-federal convict who has turned his life around many years ago. I know the federal system well. I know how they investigate. I've been involved in some huge investigations, and I know they're investigating this 1000%. They will not let that go. Not what transpired on Court TV and Law and Crime. There's no way they would let that go. And they've already seen it from the investigation when they sent ARCA on it. And we're going to be here. We're going to be here talking about it. And then when it happens, we're going to be here blowing it up with a big "I told you so." And I'm not an "I told you so" kind of guy, but in this case, I'm going to be doing the big "I told you so." I'm not psychic, but it would be pretty fun if I was. So, Okay, guys. Well, I guess that brings us to the end. Thank you guys for coming out. And if you did, oh, you guys see my new sign I got, the Be Kind sign. I was getting some art supplies for Hazley, and because that's my motto. At the end of every show, I always say be kind, and specifically be kind to yourself, because that's where I struggle. I beat myself up. You guys have seen me do it. I know some of you beat yourself up over relapses, over decisions, or the way you're thinking. But we need to be kind to ourselves, or we won't make it. And how can we ever be kind to anyone else if we're not kind to ourselves first? So be kind. If you see someone that looks like they're hurting, or they have a flat affect, say hi. Even if they're looking down, just look under them like, hey, how's it going? And they'll let you know if they don't want to talk or not. But just be intrusive with your kindness. There we go. That's perfect. Be intrusive with your kindness and be kind to yourself. I'm Sam. This has been After the Bars. You guys all have an amazing Tuesday. Hopefully I'll see you guys tonight. And
Real Fabio.
yeah. Oh yeah, he's me.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost had the name.
So he's like, yeah, that dude, he didn't testify against somebody on a murder trial.